Hi guys! So I'm doing a session for Tambra today, and this is a Abbey and Joseph journey experience. So I'm going to be sharing an hour of wisdom and energy work, and Joseph's going to be sharing an hour of energy work and wisdom as well. And we are exploring two questions. The first one is, what is my soul's purpose in this lifetime? And the next one is, can we pinpoint what my spiritual gifts are and the modality that I will use to share them? This is going to be really interesting. So I'm just allowing myself to absorb the questions. Okay, this request, soul's purpose, what are my spiritual gifts, and the modality I will share them. Okay, absorbing. So I'm going to be getting connected with your spiritual atmosphere, Tambra. Thank you so much for your open-mindedness to share. We're going to learn some neat things today. And I'm going to go ahead and relax now and get connected to the universe, my spirit guides and higher self, and your spirit guides and higher self. Okay, so I see what is like a spaghetti box that pops open, but the spaghetti box is kind of at an angle, so when it opens up, the spaghetti noodles are just hitting me in the face. And I feel kind of overwhelmed, and it's a lots and lots of like angel hair pasta, and it's in a box, and like we've got all these like pieces of spaghetti, coming out of the box, and they're just hitting me in the face, and it's sort of like they're falling onto the ground, but I'm not necessarily experiencing them falling onto the ground, more so just lots of them hitting my face all at one time. And this is difficult because there's so much hitting me in the face right now that it's hard to actually pick out the individual spaghettis. Like these haven't been put in the water, so they're all hard. So it's hard to even pick out an individual one because there's just so much in my face right now. Spirit Realm says, you know what we're talking about when we say there's so much in your face right now? And I experience a difficulty. I mean, it's very difficult for me to actually take this chunk that has hit me in the face and actually take it and then lay it out so I can see what this is. There's a lot of meaning to what we're looking at here because not only is there a lot hitting you in the face, there's a metaphor, there's meaning to that, but also simultaneously, there's meaning to each one of these sort of spaghetti pieces. Because each one of these is a part of your soul, is a thread of information, a frequency of information about you. And if I could see all that you are, would I have to see you in every single individual little thread in order to understand you? Or if I put all the threads together, how am I going to truly know who you are? Your soul is so vast. As a human being, we want to understand the vastness, but we aren't capable. We're basically one little piece of spaghetti, but we want to understand all of the spaghetti at one time, and it's just too much. That's just going to hit you in the face, and you're not going to be able to understand it. So we have to work with what we know right now and what we're able to access right now. Because if we were trying to dip into your library, Tambra, your library is just like, where would we even begin to tell you? And because your library is so vast, you actually have access to being and working with so many different, so many different colors, so many different modalities, so many different things. I'm actually dipping into what is the whole. So we have all these pieces of spaghetti, but if I put them together and I experience it as a whole, there's just like, man, it's very vast in here. And because that is your soul, you could actually connect or bring forth all these talents from all these different timelines and all these different places and people that you have been. You could actually bring this forward. You have access to a lot of talent. You really do. But are you ready for accessing that talent? Or do you just want the talent to just appear and then everything's just hunky-dory? There's something about the process of acclimating or welcoming or opening up to all that you are is the step one for you. And I'm telling you, like, this is a super awesome compliment, that you are actually, that there's so much vastness to you, because that's like, that's already a super awesome compliment. And then the one thing you don't want to hear is that, where do we begin with all of this vastness? So step one is acclimating to how vast you are, and coming to realize that, and then how do you translate all that vastness into a human life, into human life experiences, and the circus charade of human life, a day-to-day human life is hard. So this is just the beginning. This is just number one. This is what we are looking at first, okay? So you want us to take one of these strands of spaghetti and then tell you exactly what your purpose is and what you're supposed to do in this life. I don't think so. That's what they say. They throw the spaghetti in the fire and they say, if we told you this, what's the point of living? What's the point of discovering who you are for yourself instead of having somebody tell you who you are? Don't you feel like we live in a society where you're supposed to be told what to do, and then you do that, and then everything's supposed to be great? Well, the spirit realm isn't going to do that because you're so vast. Now we already told you your purpose. Your purpose is to discover the vastness of who you are, and then to decide through the experience, which is a feeling. It's not a thought. It's not a logical process. You could read as many books in this universe as you could acquire, you could have time for, but it will never allow you to experience it for yourself, and to have your own experiences that you could write about yourself one day, and somebody else were to read it and think about it, but never actually truly know what it all means until they had this experience themselves. And so they're saying that you're going to start with experiencing. So now step one is we acknowledge the vastness. The next step is we're going to start with experiencing the vastness. Experiencing the vastness is no longer studying. It's not about studying timbre. It's not about watching the videos, digesting the information, reading, and now trying to decide what the truth is. It's about experiencing the truth for yourself. It's about bringing in all of everything you have learned thus far, everything that you have longed for thus far, everything that you have acquired, all these creative dreams, all these experiences that are who and what you are, which is all these spaghetti pieces. And then we just bring all of that back into you. And now we allow you to grow through the act of experience. And we're not talking about the dull, everyday human experiencing. We're talking about going beyond the human experience, and it's really fun. We're talking about opening and expanding your horizon and saying, holy shit, you freaking serious? We're talking about that. Not the human experience like, God, I'm tired. I gotta get a coffee in order to get through this day. And why does this day suck so bad? And now I'm tripping over my feet. I fell down the stairs today, and I it's like everything sucks. Everything sucks today. Like, human life. This is like when we turn off human life in our meditations before we go to bed tonight, when we wake up in the morning on our walks, like when we have time to turn off the human experience and we just say, I'm ready. I'm ready to experience a holy interaction, a sacred interaction. I'm ready to go to the dark side of my soul. I'm ready to do anything I want to do because I'm the master, I'm the guru, I'm the god, I'm the goddess. I want to go see what's on planet Mars right now. So I'm going to go chill out here on my couch, and I'm going to just breathe and relax, and I'm going to allow myself to experience what Mars has to share with me today. And now I'm experiencing Mars. And we're talking about experiencing Mars on a psychedelic level, which is a psychic level. Which is a psychedelic level, but it's a psychic level because it's far out, man. But you don't have to go anywhere, and you don't have to take anything. You don't have to do anything except sit on your couch and say, I choose to receive now. And then you open up to that. You don't even know how to open up to that yet, do you? That's what the spirit realm is saying. You don't even know how to open up to that. You're still trying to keep all the spaghetti pieces together. You don't even know how to be all the spaghetti pieces. You don't even know how to be the vastness. And then it hits you in the face, and life is hitting you in the face. But it's like you, man. You are hitting yourself in the face. And that's how vast you are. It's like a really crazy riddle of information. Like, it's like, how many different angles can we say the same thing? But it's exciting. So we're still getting to the beginning, right? The beginning is, wow, I'm vast. They want you to actually do this. This is this is a meditative practice that you get to do in your own time, Timbre, when you're ready for this. So you're going to walk into so to me it actually is covered in dust, and it's actually ashy soot, so it's black dust, and so I'm walking into your vastness, okay. And walking into your vastness and it's covered in ashy dust. That's what I've experienced. That's not what it's going to be like for you. This is just my perspective. Your perspective is your thing. Nothing to do with my thing, but it could be similar. It's just like Joseph's perspective on your questions. He's going to be pulling that wisdom from totally other dimensions and other realms that are resonating with his soul. That's why it's so cool to get two perspectives on the question. So, here we are. They're telling me that yours, you might see yours, there's a torch burning on the side. There's Egyptian space. Like they're showing me that it could look very different for you. You have to follow your own heart through that gateway of self-discovery. But here I'm in your vastness is covered in dust. The shelves are empty. There is somebody in here. There's a dark man in here. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect that. He is sitting down on a step, and he's actually kind of like a thinking man, but not sitting upright, actually kind of curled downward. He's covered in black dust as well. He's kind of looks like a gargoyle in a way. He is hardening. He is turning into a hardened rock while he still has his persona on the inside. I am now you. And you are walking into your vastness, and you are walking into this man. And you are saying, what are you doing here? I told you to get out of here. He says, I can't leave until I give you this. There's a book. I tell you, you can choose to open this book, or you can choose to say, I feel complete. What do you choose? You actually say, I'm exploring my vastness right now. And when exploring my vastness, I run into this emanation here. And I'm not afraid to discover who I am through other people. And I'm not afraid to open this book, Abbey. This book isn't going to control my life. This book doesn't decide who I am or who I'm going to become. This is simply the finale or the end of some sort of interaction here. And I'm at peace with it. And he actually smiles at you and sees a very strong woman. And he stands up, and he is a man that is also a dragon. He stands upright like a man, but he has really big dragon wings. He's quite a very interesting force of energy. He is very ancient frequency. It's pretty awing for me to feel it, but I also feel like something isn't quite complete here. So in that way, I feel that there's something yucky, like not the harmony I want to feel right now. So this is some book. It has a bullet hole in it. It's a soft sort of leather binding, but it's small. It's not big. It seems like there's a tie to it, so you could untie it or something of this nature. In order to open up to the pages, you are actually reading every single page. The first page, second, third, fourth, like you're going through every single page, you're fingering through every page, and you are reading every single word. Every page, you're still going through the pages, and you're starting to cry. He says, I will not feel complete if your library is so empty and covered in dust. I do not feel complete to be in this vastness without all of the color and all of the meaning that you are. And he shows me that everything is like there's a rainbow entering, and it's like instantly the shelves are clean and covered in glowing books. And glowing books everywhere. And you are starting to glow because you are also a book yourself. And then this book here is, what is it doing? It's sort of dissolving and turning into ash. And it's blowing away. Something about this story is now complete. I don't know why it had to dissolve, but I have to accept it as it is. We're entering into another dimension. This dimension is in it's like a black and white TV. There's no colors. There's variations of gray and black and white. Um, and you're both standing on a cliffside. He is a half horse, half man right now. He he's talking about the mystery of your soul and the things that you have seen in your soul journey, which it's I mean, I'm a feelers type, so I'm feeling all this stuff and it's just like, wow. How am I supposed to tell you how that feels? How am I supposed to explain in language how that feels? It's breathtaking, it's painful, it is full of sorrow, full of courage, full of heroism, full of very difficult decisions, full of judgments of all kinds, full of male and female lifetimes. This one here, it's sort of like there's an it's a black and white world, but there's something about Native American and a war. It's like a Native American war going on. Because I feel like I'm experiencing what are horses and what are Native American type people on horses. And there's a lot of like energy coming from their spirits and coming from the cry of the war cry. But they're all sort of in this frequency together, and they're one with the horses. And they're their own force of energy. Are they fighting other Native Americans? Are they fighting white people? What is the fight about? All I know is this Native American warrior energy is really loud, and there's lots of horses, lots of Native American warriors here, lots of that energy force that is moving across like a battlefield, the experience of a battlefield. And there's blood involved, and there are many souls that are transitioning involved with this. Oh God, you pop basically. The person that is you on the cliffside with this horseman, you turn into something like a festering cancerous bloated thing, and you pop. And pus and infection and blood just bursts. It just goes everywhere. You just popped for some reason. It was pretty horrific. I don't know why that happened. It just did. There's something of two worlds. What is like all this deep meaning, all of these deep characters of your story, of who you are and what creates who you are. And then another layer, another dimension of just being, being Tambra, being the life, being the person who's living in a human world. And it's just the superficial elements, the superficial elements of life that we have to tend to in order to uphold the structure of society that the majority apparently wants. And we feel we're part of the majority because we're forced to be. It's sort of like nobody's forced to be, but we feel like we have to continue to follow the routine. It's the routine since we were born. Like it's routine before that. It's just something about two worlds, living in two worlds, the vastness of your soul, which is, the depth of the meaning of these lifetimes that go on and on and on. Every lifetime is meaningful. Every single one, even the ones where that doesn't seem all that intense, is so powerful. And then something very empty here, a superficial world. That is nothing that is mirroring your vastness. So how are you supposed to know who you are? If by trying to find who you are and what you are given is your life and breath here in the superficial societal world. No matter what you read, no matter where you go, no matter what you find, it isn't going to touch you like you can find it touching you inside yourself. And so the next step is going inside yourself and feeling who you truly are. feeling who you are. And when you feel who you are, you bring this dimension of depth, actually pops that sort of layer that is in between the depths of your soul and the superficial world. It pops something in between, and now merges, so you feel who you truly are in every single day. And now all that other stuff, the superficial human life stuff, just evaporates because you are so vast. So we're giving you the advice or the tips. We're telling you where you start here, okay? Because we can't just tell you all this, that's like, oh, I just want somebody to tell me what I came here to do, and then I'll just do that, and then tell me. It's like, no, you came here to live your life and to discover that for yourself. We're gonna tell you about how vast you are and help you to discover how vast you are for yourself, help you to activate, ignite that feeling within yourself, so now you can start living your life as yourself. Because if you can't live your life as yourself, do you know how deep you go? And so how are you supposed to fulfill your soul purpose if you're not choosing to go deep? You have to go deep and now behave or feel or emanate that depth in everything that you do. And once you start to emanate that depth on a regular basis, it will reveal the next stepping stone to you. But it's getting hankering into your soul more. You got to hanker into your soul more. And this wise one love, the love between you both. I haven't come across anything like this. Very, very rare, extraordinary, dazzling. And I mean, it's old. It's in old connections. I can't, the English language doesn't have words to define how that feels. Because a lot of people would be like, we're old souls. And it's like, you don't even know. Like, you think old, now you feel old, but you haven't even felt old yet, because you can go older and older and older, and you can go even more ancient and even more ancient, and it feels like before the time of creation itself, and it feels like even before that. It feels like, the ancient of 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 it. It's like, there's a certain glimmer of really pure, really intensely pure golden flecks of light that come from it. But how else would I describe it? I feel like I am in a place of like, I can't even speak because I don't even know what to say, because I'm in just so much retarded, like, I can't say that word, but I'm in ridiculous, like, I can't, the awing of it, it escapes me, it escapes me. And that's what it's like. This connection escapes me. So I'm just basking in it. How Tambra, are you going to find anything that will define what this means until you choose to experience it for yourself? This is your purpose. To discover how vast you are and to feel it and experience the feeling as how truly vast you are. That's your purpose. And to go to very, very ancient roots. And we're not talking about, it's still superficial to talk about past lives here, because there's no past lives to explain what these ancient roots are I'm talking about. Only a feeling could possibly get you there. And there's no image, there's no people, there's nothing. It's like the beginning of sound itself. So that is what your purpose is, to find yourself in a place where there is the beginning of sound itself. That's your purpose. And once you go to that ancient aspect of yourself, when you go into that deep root, which you will do it. I'm just giving you a reflection of it. I'm just giving you a mirror and saying, this is what it looks like. This is what it reminds me of. This is it, the experience of it. Now, when you go into that ancient root, and you start to become the feeling of that, and you start to discover who you truly are, what happens after that? Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of psychic people in this world. There's a lot of spiritual healers on this world, but they don't go to those ancient roots. I am still trying to get to those ancient roots, and I'll be doing it for the rest of my life. I've probably got another, 50 years, 60 years. That sounds like a long time, but it really isn't that long of a time. But in 60 years, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be a mind-blowing healer and wise speaker, more than I am right now. And I still probably won't be able to fully tap into the ancient root, but I can know that it is there. I can have glimpses of it. I can be challenged through visions that I'll get when I'm meant to have them. And I'll be dumbfounded and I won't know what to say. I'll be flabbergasted. I'll be emotionally in turmoil. I won't be able to sleep at night. I'll have anxieties and terror. And then I'll get over it and I'll be reborn again in the light, and I will feel alive in a way I never felt before. And that's what my pathway is. That is also your pathway. So, what does your pathway look like? Your sole purpose is to access the ancient root within yourself. Not through reading a bunch of books or watching a bunch of videos that other people created to talk about whatever junk. It's just so much out there. I mean, you'll do this. Whoa. But it'll never get you to your ancient root. It'll just constantly get you away from your ancient root because it has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with a collective or something interesting or something scary, and the reptilians are taking over the earth. Like, whatever it is. But it's not getting you to your ancient root. It isn't. It's desperately not doing that. It's painfully not doing that. So it's distracting you from who you truly are and from you feeling and being one with who you truly are. And so your purpose, I'm going to say this again, is to get connected with the ancient root. Now, what can you imagine comes from connecting with your ancient root? Who do you transform into when that happens? And does that happen overnight? Because it hadn't happened overnight for me. I tap into it and I'm blown away. And then I have visions and I have other things, and it's like a constant stepping stone into more and more wealth of expanded understanding. And understanding is not a logical thing. Understanding is an experience, is a feeling that you get. A feeling that's flabbergasting, a feeling that breaks you down, a feeling that says I don't want to live anymore, a feeling that says I'm so thankful that I am still alive because I chose to process this, and now I understand more than I could have ever understood because I chose this discovery. So you're on a pathway of the enlightened one. Your purpose is to connect to the ancient root, and you're on the pathway of the enlightened one. So how now do I tell you, so next year this, and then this, and then this, and this, and then you should do this, and this. That's still superficial garbage, and that's not you feeling who you truly are and allowing the spirit realm to decide when the time is right for each part of the enlightened one's journey to reveal itself in time. And as it is meant to, in order to blossom you into the most unbelievably wise woman this world has ever seen. Because vastness isn't something you just acquire overnight. And it's not something you go to college to get a degree in vastness. You experience it. You become the wise one. You choose it. You open up and you become it. You receive it. You emanate it. You are it. That's your purpose. What modality? What is your gifts? And what modality will you share them in? It would be superficial for me to answer that question because we're talking about ancient stuff, ancient roots that have nothing to do with this earth even, have nothing to do with this universe or this galaxy, I mean, we're talking going outside the galaxy, outside the cosmos, outside the universe, and all the way back to the beginning of sound itself. So, what modality is that? And how will you share it? Only you know. You're the mystery worker. You're the mystery worker. And the mystery worker is undefinable. That also is the answer for you, okay? Which is a cool answer. And I don't get to say that answer to just anybody, but I say that answer to you. You have popped and you're still like a gushing bloody infection mess, and you're not black and white. Everything else is in black and white but you. And so let's see what it all means. This man, horseman, who also emanates as a man that is a dragon, who also emanates them being a gargoyle, which is not a dragon man. A gargoyle is more like a demon or something of that kind. It's gargoyle. I mean, this dragon man also looks like an angel with dragon wings, you could say. But he loves you so much, he will not let you fall apart. And sometimes he can be terrifying, and sometimes he will remind you of the deepest love you have ever known. Because your souls are so ancient together and intertwining trees that started a long time ago at the beginning of sound itself. And so he is covered in the infection and the blood, actually, and he is trying to help put you together again. And it's sad for me to watch because he loves you so much and you've fallen apart. And he wants to help put you together again, but you're made out of like water, basically pussy blood. Like, I can't put that into a human. It's all over me, and I'll never have this again. Is starting to kind of come into a lifetime of loss, a loss of a loved one in a way that was too terrible for words, and where the blood was splattered onto him, kind of thing. And he can't put you back together again. He'll never have you in his arms again. But he takes me back to the scene and he says, we must continue to focus on this specifically. You are basically blood and pus. And you're sort of in a stance of some kind, but you aren't. You're everywhere as well. I tell the scene, let us let go of the blood and the pus, and let's us let you be an energy being. Because you don't need form or structure. You don't need a body. You don't need blood. You don't need skin. You don't need tissues. He says, if she is an energy body, then I will be lost without her. He is a man who is a horse, and he has the upper body of a man and the face of a man. He says, I love her, and I will never be able to touch her again if she is an energy body. You say you don't need to touch her. She is in your heart. He feels at a loss because he is certain that you are not in his heart, but that you are separated from him. Something about Egypt is coming back to the surface. I was telling you a technique here for you to step into your vastness, and there was an echo about Egypt, and you would see a torch, that you might have an experience of this kind, something Egyptian about it. There is something very quiet and still about this room, and I can't make out specifically what is these fancy golden projections are in here. And there's massive, it's like torches or massive fireplace burning. There's something about the way the light is flickering in the dark, but it's full of light, but the light is moving. And it's a nighttime experience, but it also feels Egyptian. Feels like golden. There is, what is the face of, you know what a mummy, you'll see, I don't know. Tutankhamun from like Las Vegas. You know, like they have the face, and then they have that headdress, and it's all golden, and they have the that's kind of what's sticking out of the wall here. And I'm pretty sure that that's kind of like a pattern that really important Egyptian people look like this. So this is like a statuesque thing that the face is coming out of the wall. And it looks like this. You're hiding by a pillar. There's a torch. You're hiding, and I see a dark man who is walking like Anubis, the jackal. There's something about a dark, shadowy man that is walking towards the face of this mummified, or maybe he is still alive, but there's something about a sarcophagus, or I'm just going to continue to watch. He is a shadow man. He's a man of shadow. He has a gift to bring. I see him walking through the face. It looked like a part of the wall, but it was just a projection. It was actually a hologram. It wasn't, it looked like a real part of the wall, but it was just a projection. He walked straight through it. And on the other side, there's huge torches. I mean, pillars, black. The room is made out of black. And you walk downstairs. There's steps here. I mean, it's fancy, but it's simple, but it's Egyptian. Huge torches, one after the other, and they're actually hanging by like golden chains. There's like golden chains around them. They sort of hang on their side, although they're attached to this wall, and they're massive. They're like the size of a human being. And there's some sort of water here, and it's a black pathway. And all these torches, in this black Anubis-like man is walking. He is just black. He's just an energy being that is black, and he looks kind of like the jackal. And he has a gift. And it's turning into something golden, a platter with something golden. I don't know, coins or something. It's just very golden. And I think of coins. I see you as I look back, and you are actually like a sacrifice, and you are in white cloth. There's nothing Egyptian about the way that you look. You're actually tied to the pillar, and your arms are spread out. Your arms and legs are spread out, and I see you being cut open while you're still alive. It's very gruesome. And I see two worlds. One world is like a sacred sanctuary, where there are gifts, and it's deep. It's unbelievably deep and ancient. And there's a shadow man who is not evil, but he is very deep in wealth of understanding about chaos and love. But he is balanced between chaos and love, which means he is very wise. He is very, very wise. And I see what is more like the human, who is like an angel, and she is sort of attached now to this pillar. She was sort of strung up and then spread out, and she's being gutted, and all this blood is dropping to the ground, and she's screaming. But nobody is here to gut her. She's actually, it's just happening, like an invisible thing is happening that is cutting her open. It's very gruesome to look at. And I see just two worlds, a dark world and a world full of light. And the dark world is full of love, and the world of light is full of chaos. And you also live in between worlds. You live in between the dark love and the light of chaos. And you can live in between those worlds, or you could choose which world. But there's something that we're learning here through these images. The dark Anubis reaches his arms out to take his angel off as a pillar, but he cannot cross worlds. He cannot enter into your world. You are being tortured, and you're still alive. Well, there's nothing of your body left, so how are you still alive? Well, you are just simply still alive, screaming and begging for it to go away, but you don't necessarily beg for it, but there's something of I don't know why you're not begging for it to go away. There's something of honor in the way it's very weird to describe the meaning of it. So you keep screaming and you keep screaming, and the torture is not able to hurt you like it was, and you're starting to fill in again. Your form is coming back. You're starting to have strength, and you are able to destroy what was shackling or holding you back, and now you are on your own 2 feet and you have the power to cross dimensions. He says, I cannot come to you, but you now can come to me. And he smiles and he's waiting for you. And you say, I do not want to go to you. He says, I can wait for eternity. But your heart still feels some sort of bitter sadness and an emptiness that you know will never truly heal until you choose to explore this more deeply. And it is your purpose. It's like your destiny. But who am I, Abbey, to say what your purpose is? Isn't it not for you? Isn't it not your choice, Timbre, to decide? But in this scene, you do choose to go and to cross the dimensions. And I am telling you, this world of light is far more chaotic and painful and excruciating than this dark world. It has deep bellowing sounds of love, and the harmony between evil and good is so balanced that it is the ancient wisdom of creation itself that exists here. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. We are far away from the superficial human world. And this place exists within your heart. Both places. All the places your soul has ever been. And all the places that all the souls have ever been. You can go anywhere. You are the master. You are God. It is your purpose to discover that. The closer you get, you've walked down the stairs and you're walking this pathway, and I discover that the colors are changing. The pathway is starting to turn to gold instead of black. And I'm telling you, the love that is glowing here is getting brighter and brighter and warmer, and the dark shadow man the shadow is dissolving, and you're starting to see yourself in his eyes. And you actually ask him to hold you, as in to carry you. Like, you get weak, and then he picks you up and holds you in his arms. And you're so weak in his arms. It's very romantic. He says that I will love you through all time, all space, all dimensions, forevermore. He says it is your purpose to discover what love is, to know what love feels like, to be embraced by love, to be weak in love's arms. He says again, I love you through all dimensions, all space, all time, all... I mean, I feel how vast his love is for you. I don't know how to define it, because it's everything. His love is everything. And everywhere. And it's so rich. And it's so enriching. It's so beautiful. And the more you look into his eyes and him into your eyes, you start to become stronger. And you hear the sound of what is like a bird, a wise bird like an eagle or something. I experience the sound of an eagle, and there's something of a golden eagle that is soaring in the sky. Something like a golden, strong bird. You say to him, I love you, and thank you. And you smile at him. He says, I want to take you somewhere, sort of a lighter hearted place. There's a waterfall, and the vapors of the water create rainbow in different places. And there's a lovely breeze, and the temperature here is very nice. It's more about the waterfall and the water and the rainbow than it is about what the plant life looks like. He is encouraging you to purify your body in the water. You have a shyness around him, and you're uncomfortable taking your clothes off while he's standing there. And he smiles, and he feels all of this in his own heart, and he is starting to become shy as well. It's kind of really adorable. And it's interesting because your souls are both so ancient that you adore each other so extreme, to such extremes that that you would feel raw like discomfort. And even if you were 110% confident with your body, with who you are, for some reason when his presence is there, it brings out feelings of insecurities. And when you are in his, and vice versa, he feels feelings of insecurities too, because the raw connection you both share brings out actually adorable insecurities, like really adorable insecurities. He tells you, do not feel that way while I'm here. Like there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm here to help you purify your body, and I love you. And he wants you to feel safe, and to feel safe and secure, like to feel that you are a goddess, and that he is here to be a healer for you, to help you through purifying your form, and to stop carrying all the weight. Like he's here to help you. And the honor that he experiences is like a goddess coming out of the sky and asking, or like, and asking this everyday man, this nobody, I choose you to purify my form. It's like a baffling thing. Like he feels absolutely like so honored by the role of simply to be in your presence. You're like a goddess to him. And it's so balanced. I mean, there's nothing creepy about this. If it was in the human world, we might feel something weird, but this in the spirit realm is so balanced here. The connection is so balanced, and it's not overshooting. It's not overextending. It's very balanced. There's a holy emanation from it all. You've been in the waterfall and allowing the water to fall upon you, and you aren't quite sure if there is something special you're supposed to do. maybe you're supposed to do something magical. And one thing you didn't realize was happening was you were starting to glow. And it just instinctively happened. It wasn't, you didn't have to do anything. You just stood in the, you chose the inner strength to experience yourself as the goddess, not to feel insecurity or shame in that role, and to step into the purifying water and to allow the water to purify your vibration. And as it purifies your vibration, you didn't realize right away it was creating a reaction of you were starting to glow. And now you're starting to realize that you are glowing. And as you glow, you start to remember who you are. Not Tamber the human, but who you are. Tamber the vast, 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 ancient, ancient root of who you are. And as you discover that, you transform. I mean, you hold your head up as the goddess, the wise, enlightened one. And there's not a second guess. There's never a question. There's an all-knowing. And emanates from all directions. And he actually gets down on one knee and bows his head before you, because it's like a holy experience to be in your presence. He does not know what else he could provide such a goddess, but his gratitude and reverence of you. And he hopes that this gift will be enough for the gift of this moment to stand before you as you purify your soul. It's really beautiful. You are so full of light. I mean, you are like waves, and you're growing. I mean, you're actually energetically, like there's voluptuous clouds that are sort of, that's what it's kind of like, that are developing around you, and you're sort of lifting up. You're not even standing on the ground, sort of levitating. You have this gorgeous sort of dress of light that you're wearing, and you have this piercing wise eyes, and all this light is coming off of your face and above your head in all these directions, and the water is actually becoming you, and you are becoming the water. So the waterfall is sort of disappearing, and you are just standing there as like this goddess emanation, this powerful divine feminine emanation. And he is becoming more and more like a human man, and you are more and more like a goddess, like an energy being, and he is more like a physical human man. And he even looks dirty. He looks like a slave. He even has shackles that are broken. He's had his head shaved. He's very, very tan, but he's skinny, like he hasn't eaten in a long time. And he's just bowing before you, like you could imagine receiving the 10 Commandments from God himself. Like, but this is a little bit of a different twist, because this man is stepping into a space where there's a holy grail, a divine feminine emanation, and he's receiving her, and he is without words. He is without words. You just continue to emanate this energy, and you smile at him. He feels like he has fallen asleep, and from this vision, and he is falling asleep. He's passed out. We are waking up again in Anubis, sort of this Anubis realm, and you have fallen asleep in his arms. He said, I wanted to show you this gift of what you mean to me. This is the wealth that I want to share with you, is who you are, discovering who you are, who you truly are, and to emanate that in this world is your purpose. He says you will not find who you truly are in any book written on this earth. You are the book yourself. You are the book. And he reminds me of how we started in sort of an ashy, sort of vast space where all the bookshelves were empty, but then instantly the dust went away and they were all starting to glow with these glowing books, and you were glowing too. You were one of the books. You are precious, he says. He says, I love you. The vastness of how he says it is, again, is like, I love you beyond dimension, beyond time, beyond space, beyond anything, beyond everything, beyond. It just echoes so, it's just so beautiful and deep, the way he says it. He shows me how you both have known each other for so many lifetimes. So many lifetimes. Just sort of, because we're looking back at where we were standing, looking at the Native Americans and this war, this battle, and then returning to the cliffside where it is sort of like losing somebody you love, but they're so obliterated, there's just blood, and you'll never hold them or touch them, and it's just a mortifying death of somebody you love. And so we're returning back even further, so we're just like these echoes of things from your spirit, these times and places or events in your spiritual atmosphere. And I talk about the original book that dissolved into ash. And I was curious about it, had a bullet hole. Just a long pause. I just experienced you glowing in a place full of glowing books. I don't really feel him there. I don't really resonate with anything we've seen anymore, because I'm getting pulled away from that frequency of wisdom. So it's not really the value for me to share any more about this. This is your message. I'm actually, like, it's almost like I'm getting pulled so far back I can't access anything. It feels like everything is complete. I'm pretty much already back in my body. Just give it a minute here. Just gonna give it a minute here. Yeah. I'm already back in my body. Like, I can't do anything else. That's all I can share. So that definitely gives you something to think about. Definitely gives you something to, I mean, that's just that I can't imagine a message that is more complimentary. And it just goes to show who you are. And it's not a discovery that is going to take the usual route. You can't go to a classroom to find who you are. You will have to go within yourself, but it's not to do it in a logical way or a textbook way. It is do it through your feelings. You discover who you are through the feeling of what it is like to be ancient, to be a goddess, to be that powerful emanation that you are. But not only to experience it through feelings, because these feelings, which would be like deep psychic feelings, which could be psychedelic too, but you don't need anything but an intention to experience this. These types of deep feelings, they open up Pandora's box in different ways, and you take this back to your human body, and now the world is different. It means something different. It is a new experience. And it can be challenging, but for me, for instance, that the most challenging aspects, I still run into challenging aspects with the opening up of Pandora's box within my own soul, but it's not I can digest it, but where before I couldn't. I still had so much cleanup work to do. I had so much transformation to do. I had so much to do to love myself still, and so that I could tolerate that type of frequency information. You're never going to receive more than you can handle. You know what I mean? Even when it's on an extreme level, it's not more than you can handle. It's part of the process. And it is the journey or the pathway of the enlightened one. And I think you know what this is in your heart. You definitely know what this is within your heart. And you know what I'm talking about. Everything about this, you deeply know what I'm talking about, and it's already unlocking the deeper essence of who you are, and it's bringing it up to the surface so you can experience that. That's all. That's all I can share. So thank you, Tambra, for this incredible experience with your soul, and I'll be very curious to see what types of messages that Joseph receives. And so yeah, thank you so much, and for sharing this openly, because a lot of people are gonna, I think, gain something from this journey. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in exploring a session with me, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Just want to thank you all, and I wish you all a wonderful day.